Orphan receptors are all expect. Now the question is, what is an orphan receptor, right? Now orphan receptor is a receptor whose ligand is not known to us. So we know it's a receptor, it is involved in a complex intracellular or extracellular communications, but what substance binds them to cause their activation is not known to us as of now, right? So because we don't know their ligand, we call them as orphan receptors, right? Otherwise, if you know the ligand, like for example, if I say let me say the prolactin receptor, so we know prolactin is the one which is binding the prolactin receptor, so it is not an orphan. But there are some receptors here which are orphan. What is this ligand or substance that binds to them? We don't know, right? What happens after these receptors are activated, we know, but what activates it, we don't know, right? So it is the SF1, DAX1, and HNF4 alpha. These are orphan receptors. We don't know their ligands. They are orphan receptors. Okay, but PR stands for progesterone receptor. So obviously we know progesterone is the ligand that would be binding to it. So that is why it is not a orphan receptor. Now let me ask you a question. Like, okay, एक orphan receptor था because we didn't know its ligand, but अभी ना research के बाद पता चला है कि this is a particular ligand that is binding that orphan receptor. तब हम क्या कहेंगे? We will still call them as orphan receptors या कुछ और? Okay. So there's a term called as adopted orphan receptors. Adopted orphan receptors. So जब receptors का ligand पता चल जाता है, we call it as adopted orphan receptors, right? When we didn't know, we call them as orphan, but when we started to know what is the ligand, we will call them as adopted orphan receptors. That's it, guys, on this question. Thank you for listening to me.